Great Guitar Build Off 2021 is upon us. God help us all. Welcome to Bonehead Guitars. Let's go design some junk. Okay, a whole lot of my builds, and most of my builds recently, well, all of them recently, they're just builds that I'm just doing. It's just something I want to build. And because of that, they tend to have, a lot of personal meaning to me, probably more so than they would anybody else. I'm not telling you this story because I want wah-wah points or anything like that. It's nothing like that. And after I tell the story, it is important to me, and it's the inspiration for this build, so I want you to know the story. And that being said, once I've got that, conveyed to you, I'm not going to mention it anymore. Okay. The very first electric guitar I ever made, I did two at the same time. A friend of mine wanted me to build him a short scale bass. That was the first build, and since I was doing that and hopping into doing full scale electric guitars with a truss rod and everybody, I did a 6-string alongside it. So I did two builds at once, but the main purpose of that was the bass for this friend of mine. Now, I've talked about Dad's diagnosis with colon cancer, and it was just a couple months after his diagnosis that this friend was diagnosed with colon cancer as well. Dad only lasted 18 months. Matt, my friend, went into remission, and he did really well for a number of years before it came back, and he, spent 2 or 3 years fighting with it again, and he passed away this last month, December 10th. Right now it's January 4th, so, it was just 3, 4 weeks ago. And it's been on my mind a lot. But ever since that initial bass, like I said, it was the first one I ever did. He loved that bass, but said it sounded fantastic. Seymour Duncan quarter pounders in it. It most definitely was not my best work. The fact that it turned out great for him, I think, was a complete fluke. So ever since then, I wanted to build another bass, and I had material set aside for, 3 years now, with the intention of it being a bass build for Matt. And we just never got to it. And since he's now gone, I thought I should finally go ahead and use that wood for a build, and just, kind of make it a tribute for him. Well, I was really thinking about making that a bass build, but another thing I really wanted to try to explore in this build is ergonomics, and I wanted to make something that would be comfortable in more of a classical position, as well as lap. Well, we'll get into it in a little bit. There's several different design concerns, a longer top horn to balance weight a little better, some things like that. But I wanted to try to do a little exploration into body shape and see what, could be more comfortable in each of these positions, what can make it easier to sit in those positions, some things like that. And some of those positions, bassists just don't use, apparently. I don't play bass. I know next to nothing about bass, but I had to ask some people to see what they thought, and particularly like classical position, bassists don't play that way because they would have to be, that's more for closer in, with a shorter scale 6-string, that's nice and comfy. But So as a result, I'm thinking about going ahead and doing a 6-string, just kind of styled the way I kind of envisioned doing for Matt's bass. In any event, I have had this big fat piece of mahogany set aside for a long time, and I have drawn 2 or 3 different design ideas on this, planning this for Matt's bass. But the important piece was this book matched highly flame maple set. I'm anxious to get a little test piece chopped off somewhere where I can do some staining on it and see how it goes, but it looks to me like there's a lot of flame in there. So, yeah, that's been sitting around for, like I said, at least 3 years. And we just never got around to it. So I think I want to try to put this to use. This type of thing with a very thin top, I try to avoid that kind of thing because I like to carve. I like a carved top. I like, more of a 3-dimensional organic design than a flat. Bleh. I think, I've seen people successfully do it. I think I'm just going to sandwich this the way I would. And never mind the fact that it's a thin top, carve the way we were going to carve. And I'm hoping to plan it so that, when carving goes through the maple that's left still has an aesthetically positive shape as well. I don't know. I just early planning stages. That being said, I had a kind of prototype bass put together with 2x4s. It's been laying around for a long time, and I pulled it out and chopped it up a little bit just so I could play, and came up with this. This is by no means final design. Like I said, I'm playing. For one thing, I wanted a real grip for the top horn, because other than, being able to put your strap button on and balance your weight off of that, it doesn't really serve much other purpose. I wanted to make a very comfortable handle, and hopefully not look too terrible. And that kind of looks a little terrible, but it's an idea. It's something I wanted to play with, and so far I think I kind of like it. What I had initially thought was just taking a piece out of here so that could rest there. And, most of the time this is kind of how I sit with most guitars anyway. It just doesn't fit really well necessarily. I think this was the purpose of the Strandberg cut, so it can sit on your leg, and which, you're still unbalanced, so I don't know about that one. And then of course you have to have enough of a bottom horn so that this is comfortable. I don't like this. It doesn't look good to me, but I don't know. I'm gonna have to play a little bit more and see if I can find the optimum cuts for these different things, and then see how they can work together and maybe not be butt-ass ugly. Because, you want it to look nice, but ultimately I was kind of going for, what's the most utilitarian, really functional body shape. for different scenarios. So, I don't know. But just for fun, I was tearing up this 2x4 just to see what I thought. And functionally, I think I like that. It's just, aesthetically, I don't like this. That is not pretty to me. It'll stand that way, though. See, and that's another functional problem. You really need two relatively equal slopes on the ears so it can hang. It's nice to have something down here that it can sit on the floor, even though you're not supposed to put it on the floor. People put them on the floor. It'd be nice to have it so that it would, sit and not fall over. This does not accomplish that. That's what I'm thinking for this one, for this build. I'm just playing with some ideas right now, see what happens. We still got to finish this build, and I'm going to be uploading old stuff forever. But anyway, get prepared. Another great guitar build off. Stick around. It's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting. Just say that. Thanks for joining me. If you like what we're doing, if you're digging it, like and subscribe. Catch you next time.